Hi, Dr. Heather here from Wellspring Chiropractic Lifestyle Center. Today we're talking about neck injuries and how you can actually protect yourself before an injury ever happens so that you have the best outcome. If you want to have a healthy body, you have to have a healthy nervous system. If you want a healthy nervous system, you have to have a healthy spine. Here's why. The brain is sending the messages down through the spinal cord, out through the nerves to get to every cell in your body, so it has a very clear, precise image of what's happening in the body, and the body is sending those images back up to the brain. If there's any misalignment of the vertebrae putting pressure on the nerves, that can interfere with those flow of messages, and it may make the image the brain has of the body a vague image instead of a precise image. That's important if you injure yourself, because if that injury happens and your brain only has a vague idea, it's going to be much harder for your brain to deal with that trauma. So here's an example. My dad, 6 years ago, he's a retired chiropractor. He ends up tripping and falling into a ditch, and he hurts his neck, goes to the hospital. They do x-rays. They find out that he has broken his neck in 9 places at the very top of his spine. When you have that kind of an injury, we expect quadriplegia, just like Superman, Christopher Reeves, when he broke his neck. Same thing, quadriplegia. It turns out, though, that he had no neurological damage. And when they looked at what do they need to do to surgically fuse his spine to protect him, it turns out that everything was actually in place. And he didn't require any surgery in his neck. He only required a halo brace to be put in by drilling holes in his head and attaching that brace. And then that was attached to the corset. And that's what protected him for the 4 months of the healing up process. But it was so interesting that the whole hospital staff were amazed that this 74-year-old guy had 9 fractures and no neurological damage. And it was when an email came from some colleagues of my brother who sent the message out to everybody to let them know what happened. This email comes back, and it's from the colleague that was adjusting my dad on a regular basis. And he said, go figure, you adjust somebody every Wednesday for decades, and 2 days later on a Friday, they break their neck. You just never know. And of course, what we understand is if he had regular chiropractic care where everything was in alignment before he went into that trauma, his brain had the most precise image of his spine. So it could actually spasm the muscles and protect his spine and hold everything in place long before the EMTs ever got there to board him up. So that I hope that you find that this is an inspiring story and helpful. And I hope you share it with your friends and family so that you can have the healthiest outcome if you have a trauma yourself. Please share it, and I look forward to sharing more with you again soon.